Okay. I guess the first thing that I should get out of the way here is I should clarify that while I was originally going to title this series 10 Worst RPGs or some such, that isn't what I'm going to call it. And the reason is this. When I got to thinking about it, I realized that if I really were to truly give you a list of the worst RPGs ever made, truthfully, the worst RPGs ever made, the honest truth is that they'd all be games that none of you have, or very few of you, have even heard of. It'd just be a bunch of obscure, crappy games that you never even knew existed, and because of this, you couldn't really even comment on. You'd just be like, well, okay, thanks. I've never heard of it, and I'll never play it. Thanks anyway. When I got to thinking about that, I realized, what's the point in that? There's no point in making a video like that. I'd rather have some kind of video that I get some kind of feedback on, even if it's negative. It's better than, okay, I don't know what this is, thanks, so that's why I've decided to instead call this 10 RPGs that I hate and you probably love. And here's basically how this works. All of the games on this list are games that A, are at bare minimum relatively popular or somewhat mainstream. Many of them are very, very popular. There's a few that I kind of debated on, but I consider them to be mainstream enough that they could fit onto the list. But a lot of these are games that are simply very, very popular and I totally hate. And I'm not going to just sit here and say that they're bad. I'm going to explain to you exactly why I hate these games. And I'm not going to sit here and say that you have to agree with me. I got a lot of comments on my earlier videos about, well, you're an idiot, Final Fantasy X is awesome, or, something like that. And, I'm not saying you have to agree with me. I'm not saying that you have to automatically think that these games are shitty too. All I'm doing here is explaining why I don't like some of these games. Because a lot of these are games that, on my other videos, people are saying, hey, have you ever played this game? You ever played this game? I really liked it a lot. Well, yes, I have played them. I've been playing RPGs for a very long time, and they weren't on the list for a reason. It's not because I've been living under a rock. It's because I played them and didn't like them. And so that's what this video is for, is to explain exactly why. But anyway, I'm taking way too long to explain this. Let's get into this. Alright. The first entry, and I guess I should explain that number 10 on this list is what I would consider to be the best game out of these 10. Although that doesn't really make any difference, because the truth is that it's shitty too. I'm just saying that 10 would be the most enjoyable, if you can call it that, and 1 is the game that I hate the absolute most out of this list. Okay, so without further ado, damn, this took me 4 minutes to say that. Alright, number 10 is, you ready? Here we go. Get ready to shit your pants. Chrono Cross. Yep, that's right, Chrono Cross. This game fucking sucks. I really wish it didn't suck. You have no idea how much I wish this game did not suck. If you watch my other videos, you know that I really like Chrono Trigger. I loved that game, so when I found out that they're going to make a sequel to it, I thought, hey, that's going to be great. I can't wait for that. I love Chrono Trigger. This must be awesome. Well, unfortunately, it wasn't awesome. It was incredibly awful. Here's why it was awful. Okay, let's do a rundown here. First off, the story is terrible. It is so... I'd say convoluted, but it's not even that it's convoluted. It's just all over the place. It's like there's barely even a central story. There kind of is, but it takes so many sidetracks and it just meanders around all the damn time. It's like it goes nowhere. And then there are just all these things. They're just clearly just in there just for the sake of putting it in there to be like gimmicky. Like, oh, now you're the bad guy, but you're not the bad guy. Oh, sorry, spoilers, OMG. Sorry guys, if you haven't played Chrono Cross by now, well, that's statute of limitations. You're probably never going to play it, so I don't really care. Anyway, yeah, the story is not good. Number one, the game is supposed to be some kind of sequel, quote unquote. You can barely even call it that. The connections to Chrono Trigger are so ridiculously thin, it's not even funny. The way I look at it, if you're going to make an actual sequel and call it a sequel, either make it a sequel or don't, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Either go all the way and connect the two together or don't. Don't give me this half-assed, barely even related bullshit like what we have in this game. It's so flimsy. It's not even funny. I wish it was funny, but it isn't. It's just... And the characters are so bad. They're all generic and uninteresting. Don't even sit here and tell me that you gave half a shit about the stupid bunny girl, whatever the hell her name was. Oh, look, I fight with carrots. LOL. No. The characters are all lame. Oh, look, I'm a cook. Okay. Look, Suikoden 2, there are some characters in that game, you know, there are a ton of characters in it, and some of them are lame. Some of them are not developed well. I don't deny that. Any game where you have like 108 characters that are interwoven into the story, you're bound to have some that are worse than others. But the thing is, there are actually some characters in that game that are well developed and are interesting. There are no characters in Chrono Cross that are interesting or well developed. They are all lame, annoying, and stupid. And it's as if the creators knew that the characters were generic. They knew that they were so generic that they had to come up with some kind of way to diversify them, make them more individualized. How did they do that? Well, they gave half of them retarded ass accents. And you know how they convey these dumbass accents? Entirely through the text. If you haven't played this game, you have no idea how annoying that is. They put all these damn accent marks and apostrophes and shit all over everything. It makes it barely even legible. It's like, okay, well, you know what would be a really good idea? Let's have this guy be Scottish. I know there's no Scotland here, but we'll make him Scottish and have him say "Dene" a lot. That is lame. Look, I'm a writer myself, okay? And if you want to convey that a character has an accent, you don't have to actually literally write the accent into the text. You don't have to do that. You can just give enough background information about the character so that we know that they would have that kind of accent. You give their, you know, family heritage, that type of thing. Explain his environment. We'll get the idea. We're not total morons. We can figure it out. And I can guarantee you that our imagination is going to be more effective than a bunch of fucking accent marks all over everything. I mean, because you're having to use your imagination anyway. There's no vocal tracks for any of these lines. So, what's the point? What's the point in putting in there? Like I said, as far as I can tell, the only reason they did it is just because they knew their own fucking characters were so generic that they had to do something to mix it up. Well, I got news. This is the lamest way to do that possible.